Welcome all web viewers. We've got more on the main money item of the week, how to slash your supermarket shopping bills.
There'll also be time to talk in depth to Martin's special guest, Edwina Currie.
And then I'll face my weekly challenge to answer the money questions that our studio audience back here have set for me.
Now, the exciting part is that it's a sight unseen. Only I know the contents of this card, and I'm not showing Martin. Money guru or not, no cheating here.
Bring it on, SA. Do your worst, lip trot. Show me what you've got, and the rest of you. Sorry, I'll get on with it.
Before we find out if anyone here has a question that will fox you, head over to Kate, our supermarket shopping volunteer. Go on, have another chat.
Hello, Kate.
Hello.
So what did you think of all that? It's always fast-moving during the actual programme.
Yes.
Some interesting stuff there.
Yeah, very interesting.
How did you find the downshift challenge? Because obviously we filmed that before the programme, so you knew what was coming, but you didn't know the prices.
No, no.
The difference on many things, have you had the chance to try any yet?
Not yet, so I'm looking forward to trying it later.
Nappies were the worst thing.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things for me that people never really look at is the cleaning products, because I notice you buy branded cleaning products.
I just pick them up and just chuck them in the...
Now, I hope you don't taste those.
No.
Right, because the truth about cleaning products, of course, is there isn't really that much different in smell and taste. You have to see if it makes any difference to the cleaning, but it really doesn't that much. It's often very similar on the chemicals, and it just shocks me that so many people buy the brands. Have you ever thought of just dropping down on those?
Not at all.
Staggering. Retail hypnosis, I call this. You know, where did this come from? Have you always brought at that high brand level, or have you moved up?
I just think I've just gone along and just picked stuff up off the...
What looks the nicest?
Shelves. Yeah, what looks the nicest. And
you've never questioned it?
Never questioned it at
all.
all.
Well, maybe in a way, it sounds a juxtaposition really, but maybe in a way that the drop in food prices is actually going to be something good for you because it teaches you a lesson and it makes you consider what you're actually buying. Now, something else interesting. Is it Natalie here?
Yes, you just want a quick question from Natalie, don't you?
You were talking, I heard, about the best before dates, that your family, what do you do? Because you mentioned it.
Well, we kind of class the used by and the best before dates as the same thing, so we just throw them out as soon as the best before dates finish. Yeah,
which is... So, I mean, for me, that's just really, really wasteful. Now, I presume it's not you, this is you and your family, because you're quite young, aren't you?
Yeah.
So this is your... Are you going to go back and tell them, let's just keep those best before things?
They'll probably think I'm a bit crazy, but...
Well, they won't.
You know.
They won't. Just go in. This is what I want you to do. Take the next best before item you find, and when they're about to throw it away, say, hold on, let's just try that in 3 days' time or something, or 4 days' time, and just see if it still tastes exactly the same, because there's no health impact on best before, so it's all about the taste. Do that for me. Okay. Your word?
Yeah.
Good. Thank you very much. We'll keep on that one. Ruthie.
Natalie, well done. And over to the celebrity catch-up session on the web now. Go on, it's back to Edwina.
Edwina Currie, everybody. Thank you. Now, I have to say, something I've been noticing in here, because we have quite a lot of younger audience members today, and you were straight in having the conversations, doing that. Is that the teacher in you or the politician in you?
A little bit of both, I think. I was always very interested in the way young people were thinking and talking. They get terribly ripped off. They really do. They spend a fortune on all sorts of things which they could get a lot cheaper. Cosmetics you can always get cheaper, for example. Bling you can often get cheaper. I was having a conversation with one young man there who said he always offers a bit less than it's being sold at in the shop. Oh, good for him. You know,
quite right. You can haggle in the high street in this country. So many people think that you have to be in a fly-swarming bazaar in a foreign country before you can haggle. But you can do it at John Lewis, you could do it at Marks and Spencer's, you can do it everywhere. As
an MP, I've been around various factories where I've seen products being made, whether it's breakfast cereal, whether it's biscuits, all sorts of stuff like that, and it's the same stuff going into the package. If you actually take the packing and throw it away, what you'll find is you can't tell the difference, and you certainly can't tell the difference on blind tasting. And one aspect of that is not just that you save money, but on the cheaper brands, you're pretty sure you're getting the same quality. In fact, you are getting exactly the same product.
Well, this is fascinating, because I have something on my website called the Disguised Own Brand Hunt, where we ask people who've worked in factories to report when they've been making the same products. Sadly, it's always difficult to publish because of legal reasons, exactly what's going on there. But a lot of people say these things are very close. What's interesting for me as well is people then go, when you try and tell people about downshifting, one of the messages that people go back, yeah, what about the health impacts? You know, what about the quality foods?
It's nonsense.
Well, first of all, that tends to be a nonsense. I've had a nutritionist in the past examine the two different levels, and they tend to say, you know what, there really isn't that much in it. And interestingly, often the more expensive products have more sugar and more salt and more colourings and preservatives to make them look and taste better. So there really is no hard and fast rule. Now, I'm fascinated by you with finance, because, I mean, where did we get to on the board? We got to 500 quid, which is actually right down at the bottom end of the scale. I mean, you're pretty good. Some of these are... the cashback card was quite big with you, which is almost the trick finance, not the core finance. Mortgage-free. Did I notice in there a senior rail card?
Yes, well, I do travel around the country quite a lot on speaking engagements, and when I can, I go by train.
Absolutely.
And this saves a lot of money. It's absolutely great.
First class.
And for the younger people, you have the equivalent version.
Yeah, young person's rail card available
Absolutely
up to the age of 26, or any full-time student will take a third off most fares. It's pretty good, young person's rail card. Do you have them in here, young persons, yet? You're probably not travelling by train yet. When you start uni, some of you, that's when it's really going to hit in there. But overall, I sense finance is important to you.
It matters. I like to feel in control. I like to feel secure, especially as you get a little bit older. I mean, I've been very, very lucky. I've earned a lot of money from the books. The main thing I did with it was buy property.
Yeah. So you're an investor?
I don't think of myself as an investor. I think of it as just sort of being there, rainy day money, as and when I need it.
So if I can just out of interest, I'm not going to ask you exact numbers, but politician, books or broadcaster, which one was the best paid?
Writing best-selling books is quite... I can recommend it, Martin. It does quite well.
I've got one of my own as well. Thank you very much, Edwina. Next week, get the financial judgment on Craig Revel-Horwood. Will he dance away with full marks or get a full critic during my wallet workout? But now, it's time for my weekly challenge.
Time now for your audience questions. And the first one from Donna. Where's Donna?
Hiya, Donna. Be nice to me, Donna. Be nice. What's it going to be?
Don't be nice to him. Be horrible to him and hard. What do you want to ask him?
Martin, if you get a default as a direct consequence of bank charges, can you get the default removed if the bank or if the court loses if the bank loses a court case?
Good question.
If it's as a direct consequence of bank charges, so it's only the bank charges you're not paying and any other costs, one would hope you will be able to. Now, the problem is I can't answer this because we haven't had a result of the court case yet. As everyone will know, we now know that bank charges certainly could be unfair under unfair contractual terms rules, but we don't know if they actually are. May the 22nd is the crucial date. Now, what will actually happen? The big problem we've got on bank charges is all the hearings are about current bank charges, not about past bank charges. So what we have to do technically is what's called a read-back, a read-across, to see if the same rules can be applied. And defaults haven't been covered. Now, in the Banking Consumer Charter, which is something I put on the government's Number 10 website and has had 70,000 signatures to it. But thank you very much, Mr Brown, for never bothering to reply, even though you bothered to reply to all of those that have had more on it. Maybe it's a bit too contentious for you. Sorry, smile and be nice. One of the big requests we have is that those defaults, if you had them due to bank charges and bank charges are unlawful, should not count.
Fantastic. Now, where is Jordan?
Yeah.
Ooh, where?
Who's behind you?
Come forward, my love. In fact, do you want to swap places for a second? Brilliant, thank you. What do you want to ask Martin?
Martin, what is the best method to find cheaper car insurance?
How old are you?
18.
You're 18. Do you have car insurance at the moment?
Yeah.
How much are you paying?
£2,000.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, where do you live?
In the country, Hertfordshire.
Yeah, you know, southeast of England, 18-year-old male. Car insurance is always going to be hefty, but we can probably get it low for £2,000. Tell me how you went and got it in the first place. What did you do?
I went to the same car insurance my mum's on.
Oi, 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 oi. OK, this is the first thing. One of the problems with car insurance, hopefully I can explain this right. If you went to buy a Kylie CD, I'm guessing you wouldn't buy a Kylie CD, but go with me on this one. If you went to buy a Kylie CD is a Kylie CD wherever you buy it, yeah? So you can know the best car insurance for me, the best Kylie CD is the one that's charges me the least. The problem with car insurance is because it's bespoke, your car insurance is for you only and your specific details. They know that they can take advantage because you can't compare, because you can't go and say, what did you get your car insurance for? That's irrelevant. You're different people, different rules. So what you have to do, the first stage is to compare as wide across the market as you possibly can. The easy way to do that, are you on the internet?
Yeah.
Easy way to do that is use one of the internet comparison sites. Now, I would do them in this order. Money Supermarket first, followed by Confused.com, followed by Compare the Market, followed by Tesco Compare. Those are the four that I would do, and I would do them all. You know, what I'm telling you to do is going to take you about an hour, but I hope we can save you about £1,000, right? So it's worth the hour's work, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Right, so we're going to do those 4 comparison services. Then we're going to go to Insurance-Wide to see what it does, because it can you can then say how old you are and it looks specifically, and see if any of those can bring your price down. And if none of that works, there are 2 specialist car insurers that are good if you're young as you are, which are Norwich Union and More Than that have pay-as-you-go policies. So, effectively, you pay as you drive on the car insurance. Now, the problem is if you drive late at night, they get a lot more expensive. But if you can then limit your driving so that you're only paying when you use the car and then think about exactly when you're going to use it, they can bring down your cost too. So there's a whole big system that you need to go through to find it. But the worst thing, and just, I know we've got a lot of under-20s in the audience today, we live in a hugely competitive consumer economy. If you go to one company, it will sell you at the highest price it can. You need to make them fight for your business, kick and spit to win you. So do the comparisons, see what's across the market, haggle, ask for the best deals. If you don't, you're going to spend your lives being ripped off. Company's job is to make money from you. Your job is to stop them.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Where is Matthew? OK, oh, hiding at the back. We can't have that. Come forward.
Hi, Matty, mate.
Come and stand in between these two pretty girls. What would you like to ask?
I'll be going university soon, so
Good.
I would like to know advice on what's the best bank account to open.
OK, you're going to go to university, you're going to be in debt. Right, that's going to happen. You can't avoid it. One of the things that annoys me is when people ask me, how do I not get in debt when I go to university? You can't. The system is set up that you have to borrow money. So I'm going to take the question back a step and then I promise I'll answer. The first thing to understand is all debts are not the same. There is good debt, there is OK debt, and there is hideous debt. Good debt is the student loan company debt, the official student loans, cheapest debt you're ever going to get. Simple as that. So you borrow there first. The next debt is your bank account debt, is your 0% overdraft that they'll give you. So, of course, what we need to do, if you're a student, is maximise that. The question is, who is going to lend me the most money at 0%? And, of course, that's just for cash flow purposes while you're there. The answer right now, this year, for students who started last September, is Halifax Bank of Scotland, who will give you 0% up to £2,750 a year for each year, although it's difficult in the first year. I'm taxing my memory there. But I think it's £2,750 a year, year on year. But when are you going? This year or next year?
Next year, next September.
The answer is it will change by then. So if you go on to my website, which is moneysavingexpert.com, and read through best student bank accounts, you want to be applying around August. Actually, even this year's haven't been produced just yet. But the key is the biggest 0% overdraft, so that if you are going to borrow, it's not going to cost you anything. But once you finish studying, you want to make sure that you move to a graduate account that gives you a big 0% overdraft and gradually you repay that debt. Because if you start to borrow bad debt, which is commercial debt, at rates of interest above 5 or 6%, it's going to hurt and you're going to be stuck until you're 28, 29, 30, unable to buy a house. It's going to be hanging over you and it's really going to hurt.
Well done, mate. Now, where's Sibel? Oh, OK, come forward.
Hiya.
This is our last question. Last but not least, what would you like to ask me?
OK, as you're aware, we're all students in here. Well, most of us.
Yeah, there's a few older faces in here.
Yeah, there is a few. And half of us are over 18 and everyone's trying to get a credit card.
Yeah.
And is there any credit cards that you recommend for students with low interest rates?
Ultimately, I think one of the keys for students getting credit cards, you have no history. When you apply to get a new credit card, what the credit card company does is it wants to assess your behaviour and it wants to be able to predict your behaviour. The problem for them with you lot is, one, you don't have very much income, and two, it has absolutely nothing to go on. It doesn't know whether you're going to be a responsible borrower or you're going to spend willy-nilly, be a terrible risk. And therefore, it's very difficult to do this. The first thing I would say is, even telling you how to get a credit card scares the pants off me, right? Credit cards are commercial borrowing. Unless they're giving you 0% borrowing over the length of your student life, it is a very bad way to borrow. I mean, it's as simple as this. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to take the opportunity to preach for a second, so forgive me, right? Because you're all listening in here and I get my one chance.
Now see what you've done.
Let me just explain. This is what happens to people. People go to university, they borrow in all different types of ways, not just the cheap debt ways. Because what everyone says to them is, don't you borrow, young lady! Right, that's what they say. So you have to borrow. So you borrow, and then no one tells you, actually, borrowing this way, student loan company is good, borrowing this way, credit cards is bad. So you put the debt on the credit card, you come out of university, you think, yay, I'm going to earn an absolute fortune. But suddenly you've got these credit card debts that are charging you a huge rate of interest. And you're like, but hold on, I've got a job, I thought it was all going to be great, but I'm having to pay all my money to the credit card. So then you think there and go, you know what, forget this, I'm just going to borrow more money to support my lifestyle. So this is what starts to happen. You get your income, it comes in each month, a chunk of that money goes towards paying off the credit card, right? which means what are you going to do? Well, I want to maintain my lifestyle, so I'm going to borrow even more, which means now you're borrowing even more. A bigger chunk of your money goes towards paying off the credit card. You have even less to spend, which means you borrow even more money. That's called a debt spiral. At the end, you end up bankrupt, no way to borrow a house, and it gets really bad. Now, that's shock horror for someone borrowing a credit card, and I'm not saying you're going to do that. But the honest answer to your question is getting a credit card at 18 is a dangerous move. It isn't your money. It's expensive. And unless you're getting it at 0% and you're just using it for cash flow, I would steer well clear.
Forewarned is forearmed, so well done. Difficult questions, but as always, clear answers. All in all, let's give him a clap for that, because I think that will really help you.
Thanks very much. Sorry for going off on one there, but I see these young faces looking at me, and I think you don't get many opportunities to talk direct, so I was going to take it. Next week, we'll be back with more web questions.
And on 5's It Pays to watch next Wednesday at 7:30, we'll be looking at how to cut utility bills, gas, electricity, water, the lot.
Yeah, we predicted price hikes over the summer of between 20 to 35% on gas and electricity, on top of what we've already had. 200 quid a year on top of people's bills. Any money saving I can do should, hopefully, help.
I'll also be looking at some of those old-fashioned cleaning tips Martin mentioned earlier. White vinegar, bicarbonate
Old
soda.
stylers.
And a new one, cheap Coke.
Yes, down the loo. Shh. And he may be pretty tough when it comes to the ballroom, but what's Judge Craig Revel Horwood like when it comes to managing his money?
Find out on Wednesday when, as always,
It pays to watch.